Differentiation of functions with variable base and variable exponent. Welcome, everyone. Let us begin our session on the differentiation of functions with variable bases and variable exponents. To start, let us recall what we have covered in previous sections. We have already learned how to differentiate functions where the base is a constant, such as a raised to the power of x, as well as functions where the exponent is a constant, such as x raised to the power of n. However, as we progress, we often encounter more complex functions where both the base and the exponent are variables. This means that both parts of the expression change as the value of x changes. To give you a better idea, consider examples such as y equals x raised to the power of sine x, or y equals log x raised to the power of x. Now, it is important to note that standard rules, such as the power rule or the exponential rule, cannot be applied directly in these cases. This is because those rules require either the base or the exponent to be a constant, which is not the case here. To resolve this challenge, we use a specific technique known as logarithmic differentiation. In the following slides, I will guide you through the conceptual approach and the step-by-step procedure to master this method. The conceptual approach. Now that we have established why the standard power and exponential rules don't work for these types of functions, let's look at the conceptual approach to solving them. The primary challenge we are facing here is that the variable x appears in two places simultaneously. It is in the base, and it is also in the power. This dual presence is what makes direct differentiation impossible. To resolve this, we use a technique involving the natural logarithm. By taking the natural logarithm of both sides of the equation, we can utilize a very helpful logarithmic property. This property tells us that the log of a base, a raised to the power b, is equal to b times the log of a. In simpler terms, this allows us to move the variable exponent down from its position and place it on the base level as a multiplier. By doing this, we effectively transform the expression from an exponential form into a product form. Instead of dealing with a variable power, we are now dealing with the multiplication of two functions. This is a significant advantage because it means we can now apply the product rule to find the derivative. In the next slide, I will walk you through the exact step-by-step procedure to put this concept into practice. Step-by-step procedure. Now that we have discussed the conceptual approach of using logarithms to handle variable exponents, let us walk through the exact systematic procedure for differentiating a function where both the base and the exponent are functions of x to differentiate a function of the form y equals f of x raised to the power of g of x. Please follow these 5 steps. Step 1. Take the natural logarithm of both sides. You will apply the log to both sides of your equation, which gives you log y equals log of f of x raised to the power of g of x. Step 2. Simplify the expression using logarithmic properties. By using the property that the log of a base raised to a power is equal to the power times the log of the base, we can bring the exponent down to the base level. This transforms our equation into log y equals g of x multiplied by log of f of x. Step 3. Differentiate both sides with respect to x on the left side. Because y is a function of x, we must apply the chain rule. Therefore, the derivative of log y becomes 1 over y times di over dx. On the right side, we now have a product of two functions, so we apply the product rule. In this case, our first function u is g of x, and our second function v is log of f of x. Step 4. Solve for the derivative, di over dx. To isolate the derivative, we multiply the entire resulting expression on the right side by y. This results in di over dx equals y times the derivative of the product of g of x and log of f of x. Step 5. Perform the final substitution. To ensure our final answer is expressed solely in terms of x, we replace y with the original function, which is f of x raised to the power of g of x. While this process may seem detailed, it is a very reliable method. To see how these steps are applied in a real problem, let us move on to our first worked example. Worked example 1, basic variable base and exponent. Now that we have established the theoretical framework and the 5-step procedure, let us apply these concepts to a practical problem. Please look at worked example 1. Our objective here is to find the derivative of the function y equals x raised to the power of sine x, as we noted in the previous slides. Since both the base and the exponent are variables, we cannot use the standard power rule or exponential rule. Instead, we will use logarithmic differentiation. Starting with step 1, we take the natural logarithm of both sides of the equation. This gives us log y equals log of x raised to the power of sine x. In step 2, we apply the logarithmic property we discussed in the conceptual approach. By bringing the exponent down to the base level, the expression simplifies to log y equals sine x multiplied by log x. This is the crucial step that transforms our exponential expression into a product. Moving to step 3, we differentiate both sides with respect to x on the left side. Applying the chain rule to log y gives us 1 over y times di over dx. On the right side, we prepare to differentiate the product of sine x and log x. In step 4, we must apply the product rule to the right side. Let us define our first function, u, as sine x, and our second function, v, as log x. Following the product rule formula, we have sine x times the derivative of log x, plus log x times the derivative of sine x. When we calculate these derivatives, we get sine x times 1 over x, plus log x times cosine x. Finally, in step 5, we isolate the derivative. We multiply the entire right side by y, which gives us di over dx equals y times the quantity sine x over x plus cosine x log x. However, to provide a complete answer, we must express the derivative solely in terms of x. Since our original function was y equals x raised to the power of sine x, we substitute this back into the equation. Our final result is di over dx equals x raised to the power of sine x, multiplied by the quantity sine x over x plus cosine x log x. Please take note of this final substitution step. As we will discuss in the upcoming slide on common mistakes, forgetting to replace y with the original function is a very frequent error among students. Worked example 2, application in growth modeling. Now that we have mastered a basic example, let us move on to a more complex application. In certain advanced physics or economics models, growth rates are not constant, but instead depend on the current state of the variable. To illustrate this, let us consider a growth factor modeled by the function y equals log x raised to the power of x. Our objective is to find the derivative, di over dx, for this function. Following the systematic procedure we established in the previous slides, we begin with step 1, taking the natural logarithm of both sides. This gives us log y equals log of the quantity log x raised to the power of x. In step 2, we simplify the expression by using the logarithmic property we discussed earlier. By bringing the exponent down to the base level, the equation becomes log y equals x times log of log x. Moving to step 3, we differentiate both sides with respect to x on the left side. Applying the chain rule gives us 1 over y times di over dx. On the right side, we are now tasked with finding the derivative of the product of x and log of log x. Step 4 requires us to apply both the product rule and the chain rule. According to the product rule, we take x times the derivative of log x and add log of log x times the derivative of x. To handle the derivative of log x, we must use the chain rule. This results in 1 over log x times the derivative of log x, which is 1 over x. Therefore, the derivative of log x is 1 over x times log x. Substituting this back into our product rule expression, we have x times the quantity 1 over x log x, plus log of log x times 1. Notice that the x in the numerator and denominator cancel each other out, simplifying the right side to 1 over log x plus log of log x. Finally, in step 5, we perform the final substitution. To isolate di over dx, we multiply the entire expression by y. This gives us di over dx equals y times the quantity 1 over log x plus log of log x. To express the final answer solely in terms of x, we replace y with the original function. Thus, the final derivative is di over dx equals log x raised to the power of x, multiplied by the quantity 1 over log x plus log of log x. Please take a moment to review the chain rule application in this example, as it is a critical step. In the next slide, we will discuss some common mistakes to avoid to ensure you do not fall into these typical traps. Common mistakes to avoid. Now that we have walked through the step-by-step procedure and looked at a couple of worked examples, it is crucial to discuss some common pitfalls. Even though the method of logarithmic differentiation is systematic, there are a few traps that students frequently fall into. First, let's talk about misapplying the power rule. You might be tempted to use the standard formula where the derivative of x to the power of n equals n times x to the power of n minus 1. However, this is incorrect in our current context because that rule only applies when the exponent is a constant. In the functions we are studying, the exponent is a variable, so the power rule cannot be used. Similarly, be careful not to misapply the exponential rule. Some students try to use the rule where the derivative of a to the power of x equals a to the power of x times the natural log of a again. This is incorrect here because that rule requires the base to be a constant. Since our base is also a variable, this rule does not apply. Third, a very frequent error is forgetting the chain rule. When you are differentiating the natural log of a function of x, remember that the derivative is not simply 1 over the function. You must multiply it by the derivative of that inner function. In other words, the result is 1 over the function of x, multiplied by the derivative of the function of x. Forgetting this second part will lead to an incorrect final answer. Finally, do not neglect the final step of the process. It is a common mistake to stop the calculation once you have found the derivative of the log of y if you leave your answer as 1 over y times di by dx equals some expression. Your work is incomplete. You must remember to multiply the entire expression by y, and then substitute the original function back in for y to ensure your final derivative is expressed entirely in terms of x. Keeping these mistakes in mind will help you navigate the final summary and apply this technique accurately in your exams. Key takeaways. Now that we have covered the step-by-step procedure and looked at some common pitfalls, let us conclude with the key takeaways to ensure you have a solid grasp of this topic. First, let's talk about applicability. You should employ this method of logarithmic differentiation whenever you encounter a function where both the base and the exponent are variables, specifically functions of the form f of x raised to the power of g of x. Secondly, remember the concept of the log bridge. As we discussed in the conceptual approach, the natural logarithm acts as a bridge that allows us to bring the exponent down, effectively transforming a complex exponentiation problem into a more manageable multiplication problem. To execute this process successfully, there are a few essential tools you must have in your mathematical toolkit. First, you need a strong understanding of logarithmic properties, specifically the rule that the log of a raised to the power of b is equal to b times the log of a second. You must be proficient with the product rule, which we applied in both of our worked examples. And third, the chain rule is vital, especially when you are differentiating the logarithm of another function. Finally, always pay attention to the final form of your answer. Referring back to our discussion on common mistakes, remember that your goal is to find the derivative of y with respect to x. Therefore, always ensure that you perform the final substitution, replacing y with the original function so that your final result is expressed entirely in terms of the variable x.